The loudest noise isn't outside, it's the one within you, whispering doubts and distractions. But what if silencing that inner chaos is the very path to the peace and power you've been searching for? Today, we're going to uncover how to build an unshakable inner foundation, a spiritual fortress that stands firm regardless of the storms outside, and how that internal strength is the true source of a life lived with purpose and profound peace. This isn't about finding a quick fix or waiting for external circumstances to align. It's about claiming the incredible God-given power that already resides within you, waiting to be unleashed. Many of us spend our lives chasing external validation, comfort, and the elusive idea of luck, believing that true success and fulfillment will magically appear once we achieve a certain status, acquire a certain possession, or receive approval from others. We look to the world to define our worth, to dictate our joy, and to tell us who we should be. We pour our energy into managing appearances, seeking applause, and trying to fit into molds that were never designed for our unique spirit. This outward focus leaves us feeling hollow, perpetually restless, and vulnerable to every shifting wind of opinion or circumstance. It's a diagnosis of spiritual exhaustion, a deep weariness that comes from constantly building on sand, rather than on the solid rock of internal conviction and divine alignment. But what if the very act of turning inward, of cultivating a disciplined heart and mind, is not just a spiritual exercise, but the most radical act of self-love and power you could undertake? Imagine a life where your peace isn't disturbed by the daily news, your worth isn't dictated by likes or comments, and your purpose is a clear, unwavering flame within you. That life is not a distant dream. It begins the moment you decide to invest in your interior world. If this message resonates with a deep longing in your heart, a desire to dig deeper and build a foundation that truly lasts, I encourage you to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Let's create a space where we can learn and grow together in this journey of internal transformation. One of the greatest obstacles to building this internal fortress is our ingrained aversion to discomfort. We've been conditioned to seek ease, to avoid anything that challenges our current state of being. Elias, a man I know, spent years chasing the easy button in life. He was a talented architect, 47 years old, always seeking the path of least resistance at work, in his relationships, and even in his faith. He'd pray for God to remove obstacles, to smooth out the rough edges, believing that a peaceful life meant an effortless one. But the more he avoided discomfort, the more anxious and stagnant he became. His projects often stagnated, his relationships felt superficial, and his spiritual life felt like a shallow puddle. The surprising truth Elias discovered, and one that resonates deeply with timeless wisdom, is that growth rarely happens in the comfort zone. It's forged in the fires of challenge, in the quiet, disciplined moments when no one is watching. Just as a blacksmith shapes steel through intense heat and repeated blows, our character and spiritual resilience are molded through the pressures and difficulties we choose to lean into, rather than run from. Are you willing to embrace the discomfort that leads to profound strength? Another insidious obstacle, often cloaked in the guise of connection or necessity, is the relentless assault on our energy and focus from external distractions and negative influences. We live in a world designed to pull us outward, to fragment our attention, and to drain our spiritual reserves. Social media, endless news cycles, the constant need to keep up, and even well-meaning but draining relationships can leave us depleted, with little left for the crucial work of cultivating our inner world. Elias, in his journey, realized his phone was a constant siphon for his mental and spiritual energy. He'd pick it up for a quick check and lose 2 hours, his mind cluttered with noise, his spirit restless. The revelation that struck him was that his energy and time were not infinite commodities, but sacred resources entrusted to him by God. Protecting them became an act of spiritual stewardship. He began to ruthlessly eliminate anything that didn't align with his goals, whether it was certain apps, specific conversations, or even unhealthy thought patterns. He started treating his inner space like a sanctuary, a temple he was responsible for guarding. 1 Corinthians 6:19-20. This isn't about isolation. It's about intentionality. It's about discerning what truly serves your highest purpose and what merely distracts, understanding that every yes to a distraction is a no to your deeper calling. This brings us to a profound spiritual turning point, the realization that true power doesn't come from external achievements or the approval of others, but from the unshakable foundation you build within, guided by the divine. This isn't a new concept, but a timeless biblical truth often overlooked in our outward-facing world. Jesus spoke of the wise builder who dug down deep and laid his foundation on solid rock, so that when the floods came, the house stood firm. Unlike the one built on sand, Matthew 7:24-27. This solid rock is not just faith in God, but the daily, disciplined act of aligning your thoughts, choices, and energy with His truth. Elias, after much struggle, came to understand that his anxiety wasn't just a byproduct of external pressures. It was a symptom of an internal foundation built on shifting expectations and the opinions of others. His turning point came when he began to truly be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. He started spending quiet mornings in prayer and meditation, not asking God to change his circumstances, but asking God to change him. This internal work, often unglamorous and unseen by others, began to transform his inner landscape. He started to cultivate a deep, quiet self-respect that wasn't dependent on his latest project's success or the praise of his colleagues. This transformation wasn't about adding more to his life. It was about stripping away what wasn't serving his spiritual growth, creating space for God's truth to take root and flourish within him. With this new perspective, Elias began to see his life not as a series of external events to react to, but as an internal landscape to cultivate with intention. His testimony became a powerful example for those around him. He wasn't suddenly immune to challenges. In fact, he faced even bigger professional hurdles than before. But the difference was profound. He no longer crumbled under pressure. When a major client project threatened to unravel, instead of panicking and blaming others, Elias calmly assessed the situation, drew upon his internal resources, and found innovative solutions. His colleagues, who had always seen him as reactive and easily flustered, were astonished by his newfound composure and resilience. He had become like a tree planted by the water, sending out its roots by the stream, Jeremiah 17:7-8, unbothered by the scorching heat because his roots ran deep. This isn't about pretending problems don't exist. It's about developing the inner strength to navigate them with grace and wisdom. It's about understanding that the unstoppable existence isn't one without obstacles, but one where your inner foundation is so strong that no external force can truly derail your peace or purpose. This expanded understanding applies to every area of life. Your relationships become richer because they're no longer based on external validation. Your work becomes more meaningful because it flows from an internal sense of purpose. And your spiritual life deepens as you realize God is not just in the heavens, but actively at work within your very core. So how do we begin to implement these powerful truths in our daily lives? The first practical step is to audit your internal landscape. Just as you might declutter your home, identify the thoughts, habits, and influences that are draining your energy, distracting your focus, or pulling you away from your true self. Guard your heart above all else, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. This might mean turning off notifications, setting boundaries with certain people, or simply choosing to spend 5 quiet minutes each morning in prayer or reflection before engaging with the world. Next, embrace the small, consistent acts of self-mastery. True transformation comes from relentless daily steps that are often unglamorous, but build self-respect and an unshakable foundation. This could be sticking to a regular prayer time, journaling your thoughts, or committing to a challenging new skill. Finally, cultivate an unwavering sense of self-reliance. understanding that while God is your ultimate source, He has also given you immense power and responsibility. Nobody will build your life for you. Nobody will cultivate your peace for you. This is your journey, your sacred responsibility. Your renewed vision should be one where your peace is non-negotiable, your purpose is clear, and your inner world is a sanctuary of strength and divine connection. It's an invitation to stop waiting for permission or external approval, and to start building the life you desire, brick by disciplined brick, from the inside out. The journey we've explored today is not a destination, but a continuous path of growth, a lifelong commitment to cultivating the extraordinary power within you. It's about becoming an architect of your own soul, building an internal fortress, so resilient that no external storm can shake it. Elias, the architect, eventually found a profound peace and effectiveness he'd never known, not because his life became easy, but because he learned to build his inner world with the same precision and dedication he applied to his buildings. He understood that true success isn't about avoiding the waves, but learning to surf them with grace, anchored by an unshakable inner compass. This isn't just about feeling better. It's about living an unstoppable existence, one where your peace, your purpose, and your connection with God are your ultimate guides. Imagine the ripple effect this internal strength will have on your family, your community, and the world around you. This is your moment to claim that power. If this message has stirred something deep within your spirit, if you feel a stirring to begin or deepen this journey of internal mastery, I invite you to share your personal commitment in the comments below. Perhaps you'll share one small, consistent step you're ready to take this week. Your story, your journey, is a beacon for others. And if there are specific challenges or topics you'd like us to explore further in future discussions, please let us know. Together, we are building a community of resilient, purpose-driven souls, each fortifying their inner world for a life of profound impact and peace.